Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining New Jersey Wedding Podcasts. We are your hosts, Andrea Pertel and Celia Milton, and we are both professional wedding officiants here in the state of New Jersey. We thank you so much for joining us today as you plan your wedding in New Jersey. And how are you doing today, Celia?
I'm good. I'm enjoying a Monday after a big weekend, which is
Yeah.
always like fun, isn't it? I
A
like it.
big sunny weekend.
Oh
We
gosh,
were both of us were super busy this weekend, and it was lovely, beautiful,
the
sunny,
weather
great
was like
weather. Yeah.
perfect. Oh my gosh, it was so perfect. And
I want,
I will take credit for all of that because
yeah,
we
yeah,
do
for all
have
the sunshine and all the beauty.
people seem to think that we have, because we're like ministers, we have like some cosmic power over like the weather, but which is not true. But if it were, this is what I always tell people. This weekend was my anniversary weekend, like way back, like before fire when we got married. And
Oh,
it has only rained maybe twice on this weekend in like the last 38 years.
oh, wow. Okay,
And
so
I
we
know. I tell them,
got to
like, you
pick
picked.
Celia's anniversary.
That's right. You got to like pick that first, the first full with the seventh, sixth, seventh, eighth. You got to pick that one because it's always nice. Yeah.
Right. We talking about being busy. We were both very busy this
Oh, it was
weekend, but
crazy.
we also I've realized that I still have some key dates
Yes.
available in 2024 and 2025. One Saturday in August in particular. I know people are booking more short notice, but
Mhm.
and also I'm always curious as to who finds me through the podcast. I know I've booked several weddings from listeners, as have
Yeah.
other vendors. So, we were talking about this. If you're booking with either myself or Celia, any new couples booking with us
Uh-huh.
for our full wedding packages, mention this podcast to get a discount.
That's right. And if your timing is right, maybe like a free like a puppy, you know? I just don't know. You're gonna get something. We just can't guarantee what it's gonna be.
That's a
Oh,
good one. Tell me, I want to hear about your weekend because it was
you
so
know what?
lovely.
It was great. Carrie, my efficient Carrie was doing a micro wedding at the Bakari Grill in Bergen County, which is a lovely site with absolutely fabulous foods, great for like micros. Um, on the other end of the spectrum, my partner Michael was at the mansion at Natterer, which is just big, grand, fabulous, gorgeous, and we'll
Love
talk more
that.
about, that later on. But I was at this adorable venue called the Forest Lodge at Sherwood Forest. How much do I love it? I was at Sherwood Forest this weekend,
So
and
unique,
the
right?
people there are so nice. Um, it's not an enormous venue. It's just got a very warm feeling to it. There's a nice patio that comes, from the banquet room. There's a big patio so people can kind of hang there during cocktail hour and then, during the whole wedding. Their ceremony space is lovely. And it just one of the things that really struck me, besides like it's Sherwood Forest, okay? I mean,
Right.
you gotta love that. My whole ceremony, I have a whole ceremony that I do only in a few places that are foresty. Like I'm going to Bear Mountain this weekend. Same opening. Um, but the thing that really struck me about it was that the people that I worked there, and I will post them when I do my Instagram post, or I worked with vendors that are very clearly there all the time,
Right.
and smaller kind of owner operated companies, for my DJ, my photo booth, my photography, my video. And everybody was so nice to work with. It's like you really felt that warmth from like everyone. The minute that I walked in, one of the waiters was like, "Can I help you with something? Do you need to
Yeah.
speak to Maria?" Maria's their maitre d', and she kicked some serious wedding butt. I have to tell you, she was great. There were people losing buttons. It's like, no problem. We got this under control. We need one more minute. Bride's coming down the aisle. It was amazingly orchestrated, and it
Love it.
just it made everybody so calm.
Uh-huh.
It was really wonderful. And I think it just really kind of points out that, that, yeah, consider not only the preferred list, the formal preferred list, but if you're going to book your venue first, then you're probably going to book your photographer or your music next, because those are the next like biggest things. Ask them who they like. They
Yeah.
work with us. They see a totally different side of the other vendors than you might. And those teams are just, it's just wonderful. It's a wonderful synergy, and the atmosphere is like, all right, what can we do to make this photographer's life easier? What is the officiant need? It's that's what struck me after it's funny because it's this venue happens to be in a very big kind of compound where they do corporate events, they do picnic events, they have a beautiful rustic outside tent space for weddings too, which is fabulous.
Yeah.
But like as I left, I was followed out of the driveway by a bouncy house.
I love
And it was great. And there were like two, Italian ice trucks coming in. It was really, really fun.
I love it. I love it. And the people's ceremony, like, was it a big gathering?
It was like, you know what? It was 80 people. The thing that they did that I loved, and I wrote about this on Instagram. They have the gazebo there. It's not like one of those like octagonal kind of round gazebos. It's kind of long and wide. It's a typical
Pavilion
gazebo.
type one,
It's a
yeah.
pavilion. You're right. It's more of a pavilion. And in the pavilion behind us, they had a banquet sized table, and that's where they did the memory table with pictures of their grandparents and like their parents' weddings. And not, it's a memory table, but it wasn't only people who have passed away. It was like family pictures. They had the two collars from their two dogs
Oh,
that could not come to the wedding because
oh,
they're not very well
okay.
behaved.
All right. That makes
And
me feel better. I thought like maybe it
well,
left.
they did. They had like they had a memory box of their one dog with his paw print, and the one dog who had passed away. But the collars that was like hilarious. But what I really loved about that is that, we talk very often about, the people who are with us in our hearts, but they can't be here in person, they can't be physically with us. And by having them in the gazebo with us, they really were right with us. And, during the ceremony, I invited people during that little piece. It's like, please feel free to come up, and look at these pictures. At this venue, it's interesting because it's not only the ceremony, like the patio space leads to the ceremony space, which is outside, but they have cocktail tables set up around the formal ceremony
Right.
area. And then they have like a little area that has like the cornhole and the giant Jenga. But like people were out there for cocktail hour and they were wandering over to look at the pictures. There was something like so organic and just welcoming and not so formal about it. But I love that notion that, yeah, we do have all these people who are with us in our hearts and in our memories, and they're right here with our dog collars and our dog paw print. It's really lovely.
I love that. I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was
Um,
great.
and very unique and a very unique venue. I love
Definitely.
that venue because I love the outdoors. I love woods and stuff. So that's my vibe. And there's no other venue like there's a lot of outdoor venues, but there's no other venue like Sherwood Forest, right?
No, it's really kind of midway between being like a camp venue, and we've
Right.
got loads of those that we recommend too, but they really are like summer camp. This is kind of like if a summer camp had a banquet hall in the middle of it.
Right.
I think it's really unique, and it's very accessible for people to get to, and I think it's got a lot going, and the people are lovely there.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of unique, we just had the pleasure to interview Carrie from Duck
Oh
Donuts.
yeah.
Yeah, but then that's the donuts is a unique dessert to put out, whether you put it on the pegs or you put it, or you she gave some examples, putting using donuts as the table
The centerpieces. I
piece
love that idea.
or the to-go box. So I think our listeners are really going to enjoy listening to
Yeah,
Carrie from Duck Donuts.
I love it.
So stay tuned and enjoy this interview.
And get a cup of coffee ready.
Yeah. And book us for a discount and you might get a dog.
You might get a dog.
Want to get married without the stress of a big wedding? Looking for a ceremony that's all about the two of you? Or maybe you just can't wait to say I do. New Jersey Elope can make your dream of an intimate and unforgettable wedding day a reality. Picture this: exchanging vows with the sand between your toes on a beautiful beach, saying I do surrounded by nature in a serene park, or celebrating your love under the elegant arch in my cozy office. So, whether you crave the coastal breeze, the charm of the outdoors, or a private, hassle free setting, we have the perfect elopement ceremony for you. Visit NewJerseyElope.com and start planning your dream wedding today. New Jersey Elope, where your love story begins. So today we have a really great guest, actually, from something I love, donuts, Duck Donuts,
Yum.
right? Yeah. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to speaking with Carrie
Gonna
of
be
Duck
fun.
Donuts, right, Celia?
We're at the point in the morning where a donut looks really even better than usual. I have
Yeah.
to tell you. I'm
The
just gonna
website looks amazing
Oh,
too.
I know. It looks like so much fun. Yay. Yay. Yeah, so we're really happy to have Carrie he's the owner and CFO, that would be the Chief Frosting Officer of Duck Donuts in Whippany. I met Carrie at one of the wedding showcases we did at the Old Mill Inn together, and I can tell you that her space was always mobbed by actual brides and actual grooms and all the vendors too. So, Carrie, tell us about weddings and donuts. I can't wait to hear all about this.
Well, first, thank you so much for having me. This is a thrill. So it's very exciting. So yeah, we've been doing weddings for quite some time, and is one of my most favorite things to do just because it celebrates life and weddings are so fun and beautiful. So I'm always pretty honored when a bride or groom approaches and wants to have wedding donuts as part of their wedding. But the big trend, I think, started when we first opened. And I've been an owner for quite some time, was the donut wall, which was a new concept. I think even it was my husband who had to introduce this to me, and it's very fun at weddings. And I think a lot of venues actually now have their own donut walls, and it's a pegboard where you put donuts on there, and sometimes there's something written on the top. And brides and grooms get very creative, like "Life is sweet" or all kinds of cute little things that they have for sayings. And then it's sometimes it's a favor on the way out, or part of their dessert ensemble, because obviously the desserts can get pretty elaborate at weddings. So
Right.
yeah, it's kind of, we do all kinds of different things with donuts, and it's always a real treat to be a part of that day.
Yeah, everybody loves a donut too, right? I like the idea of the going away, the gift of the donut as you leave. I could see getting home from a wedding, your feet are tired from dancing all night, and you go, "Oh yeah, we have these donuts."
Yeah, it's a fun. I tell people, we were working on a wedding yesterday actually, and a customer was asked like, "What's that for?" And I was like, "Oh, it's for a wedding." And they said, "Oh, really? That's so interesting." And I said, "Yeah, I think it might be a favor, or they have a donut wall because it was." And this venue has the donut wall. And I said, it's when you think about it, it's a great end of the night treat because it kind of absorbs a little of the alcohol. You're a little
Right.
hungry, it's like could be a little sweet, a little savory. So yeah, it's a very fun treat at the end of the night, and or the next morning, or when you get home, or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Do you
I-
do you sub Kara? As I said, I've seen you at the Old Mill. Do you
Yes.
like if somebody's going to do this at their wedding, like how do they go about that? Do one of you come and set that up? How does that work?
So I work a lot with the Old Mill Inn, and actually I was there
Yeah.
for a wedding yesterday, and I love working with them because they're fantastic.
Oh, they're lovely.
And
Yeah.
they have their own donut wall. So typically what happens is the bride and grooms will ask, or I think we're on a list of, preferred vendors or whatever it is.
Hmm.
And so they order the donuts directly from me. So I usually deal with the bride or the groom, um, first, and they'll come and they'll email or reach out. And then we'll kind of start with, well, what is your date and how many guests do you have? And, are you thinking a ballpark? Then we break that down by the dozen kind of, and then they pick their donuts, and then I deliver them. And then the Old Mill Inn supplies a very cute donut wall. I saw it over the weekend. And so that's kind of how that works. And then they hold the donuts and then they put the donuts on the wall. So that is the most common way to do a wedding. I've also done individual little boxes with a window where they pick donuts and they kind of grab that on the way out,
Yeah.
which is also very fun. But I think typically the donut wall, or even just traying them and having them out for a guest to grab and throw in a to-go bag on their way after the wedding, is also pretty popular as well. But the wall is just kind of a fun conversation piece, I think.
I think that's such a cute idea.
I love the picture. There's a picture on your website under the weddings, weddings, special events that you do. And it is the donut wall, the pegboard, and it has the donut. Looks like it has pearls all over it. Looks like a wedding donut, and then the rings, the couple's rings are on there too, like they're part of it. It's a great
Yes.
photo. It's a great photo. That was great. The photographer thought of that.
I think
Yeah, the
that sounds so cute.
photographers are so creative now with all the pictures that they take. Yes, that's a fun one.
So
I think
you
our
can
Facebook page has a lot too of photos of just weddings from the past.
and you can customize these. So like I said, this donut in this photograph looks like a wedding donut because it looks like it has white pearls all over it. So the couple can customize what flavors they want, or or to match their colors or whatever, right?
Yeah, so it's very fun. So sometimes it's like well, we love this. So they'll give us a list of donuts that they love and of course what they think their guests will love. And you try to mix in a couple for the age ranges, always something for everybody. Like glaze and then maple bacon or whatever it is that they think. And then sometimes they like to get fancy and match the colors. So we'll do dyes and drizzles and, sometimes we'll do sparkles and pearls are really pretty. So yes, we can get pretty fancy actually,
Yes.
which is really fun.
Personalized to their wedding. I see that you
Oh, yeah.
also do, Celia and I were talking this morning because we both also do baby blessings, and I see some other
Aw.
pictures on your website. Yes, and this time of year is
Oh
very
God,
popular
baby
for
season.
it's
Oh, it
baby
is. I didn't
season.
know that about this
Yeah,
time of year.
a
That's so
a lot
fun.
of baby blessings, and I see, and when you do a baby blessing for a family, there's a lot of kids always in the family and stuff like that. So donuts are a great idea. Nice, easy grab and go. You don't have to cut the cake or whatever, but you could do the blue donuts for the boy or the pink for the girl, or mix it up. They're really cute, really cute.
I think that's a
Well,
great idea. I kind of like it.
yeah, that is right. We have done quite a few baby blessings and showers and graduations, and there's even bed parties, which I did not know was a thing
What
for
parties?
girls. When they get a bed party when a girl gets into college, they decorate their whole room and invite their friends when they've accepted the college. So we've done a few of those this spring as well. So we have done quite a few custom colors and sprinkles, and I've done mermaid donuts and all kinds of fun things. It's fun when the customer, the guest, gets really involved with it and kind of into it and likes to do something and has a vision in mind. As long as we can meet it, I'm very happy to do it.
Right.
Sometimes it might be too much, but for the most part, we've been able to do all kinds of things.
Wow. Okay, this is going to be a controversial question.
Sure.
What is the most popular donut?
So one of our top selling is the maple bacon, I think.
I knew you were going to say that.
I know what it's funny because when you talk about customizing, I've often done a groom's favorite and a bride's favorite. Well, they'll pick for a favor or for the wall or as part of it, they'll pick like a his and hers and an ours favorite. So maybe I'll do an assortment of like 3 different options. And usually the groom is the maple bacon, which is so fun
I
and
love that.
delicious. And I would say that is popular. And then the chocolate with rainbow sprinkles is popular among kids. And the cinnamon sugar, while be it very boring and basic, is my all-time favorite, I think, still.
Boring.
So that's a fun one. And it's just so good and just simple. And And then it just depends because we have so many yummy toppings that I could go on and on. When anybody asks at the register, like, oh, well, what's popular? I'm like, well, let me tell you.
Huh.
Depends on what you like. And then I have to limit myself because it depends on my mood, if I'm in a chocolate mood or strawberry, there's just so many options. It depends on the day.
Well, you do have a tab on your website. I like the made to order donuts. You start with the coating. You have the big list of the coatings, and they all
Right.
look amazing. Anything from cinnamon sugar to blueberry icing and everything in between. Pick a
Right.
topping and then choose a drizzle. And all the toppings, the list of the toppings and then the drizzles. It looks fabulous. That looks like
Oh, good.
fun.
Yeah,
I-
it is fun. It is we try to be, I think doing weddings is such a perk of this because it's such a fun way to celebrate. And, that's kind of what sweets are typically, is a little celebration at some point in your day or, wherever you are.
Well,
So
I think that like we talk about favors. It's like nobody wants a shot glass with your wedding date on it. Okay? Nobody wants that. But a donut, pile them on, just
yeah.
give me more of those. I
I
like it.
love as a gift as you're leaving. I just love that. I
Yeah.
love picture getting home, kicking off the shoes, and let's have the donuts, or having them in the morning. So donuts, let's say you're doing a wedding for 100, 150 people. You're going to make a lot of donuts to fill up that that cute donut wall. With the saying "Life is sweet." How far in advance do people need to contact you?
Oh, good question. I get that. I get brides who were like, "Oh, I'm getting married in 2 weeks. Can I can I get some donuts for my favorite?" And then I get some that are planning 18 months out. So, I just like enough I think a month is if I could keep it outside of a month, that would be great because then it gives me time, especially if they're going to do something custom, to just make sure everything is in order. But I have done it on the fly, and I've had venues call who've said, "Oh my gosh, I'm supposed to have wedding donuts, and this happened or that happened. I forgot to order them. Can you?" And we've done them, and we've gotten them taken care of, the day of. So
Right.
that's not ideal, but
But you've
preferably,
done it. Yeah.
yeah, but preferably like a couple weeks is helpful, just because I'm particular and want to make sure everything is taken care of. So. But yes, I've done it all. But yeah, I mean, I think a month is a good amount when you have a general idea of the head count and you've gotten your RSVPs and your everything is kind of in order. That's a good time to kind of finalize. But I've taken orders way far in advance. I think the bigger the wedding, the more time is needed,
Yeah.
especially if there's a delivery.
That would make
So
sense.
because there's only so many places we can go in a day. So
It can only be in one place at one time. Do you also do I've had a few weddings where there's been like the actual wedding cake is made out of donuts. Do you do that too?
I have, and it was, I remember I was delivering to a country club and I showed up and the event coordinator was taking them out of the boxes and carefully stacking them on a huge multi-tiered tray. And this was their cake, which I thought was super fun and creative and
Yeah.
a great way to accommodate so many different flavors under one roof. Do you know what I mean? Like you get a cake and it's, vanilla or strawberry or whatever, and you can get donuts and it can just be so many different options. And everyone gets their own little thing and it's all, it's the equivalent basically, size wise to a piece of cake. So that was really fun. So we've been a centerpiece once.
That's a great idea.
They did.
On each individual table?
So each individual, I delivered these and set these up myself. She had the bride ordered them and told me in advance, so I was well prepared. But every table had a tier, like a raised tray, and then I set the donuts up in a tier, like in a little kind of cake form, and then she had table displays with a number on it, like what table you were going to sit, that's stuck in the middle of the donuts. And then that was the dessert, was the donuts with this, and that's how you found your table 4, and then you would show up and you would sit down and then there would be the donuts in the middle. So they were, I think, the centerpiece and the dessert all in one.
I think that is like the cute for a brunch wedding. Is that like the cutest thing
Oh
ever?
yeah, that would
I
be.
love that.
I
Yeah,
can't
what a
even.
great
That is so
idea.
cute. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yes, we've done a
Now
lot.
we have to stop recording in the mornings because now I'm like starving.
I know. We're having a breakfast show. And I've got the website pulled up on my screen, and boy, oh boy, I'm looking at this cinnamon sugar one with this white icing on it. Oh,
The
Yeah,
website
that's
is the website's very cute too. It really
Yeah.
is. With
oh
Your,
good. That's good. Good to hear.
your mascot on there too. Excellent. Well,
yes, you own the one in Whippany. So Duck Donuts, this is a chain, correct?
Yes, so it's a franchise, so I can't take credit for the website. Um, or the donut, some of the, all the ingredients and everything, but certainly the weddings we have had to kind of learn on the go. But yes, it is a franchise out of Duck, North Carolina was the first. So that's why it's named Duck Donuts. The original owner was down there and wanted a donut shop on the beach. So that's how that's a very short version of how it started and grew and franchised, and it has just kind of we have now over 100 locations across the country.
wow.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
That's amazing. But I kind of like, I would never have guessed that there were that many. I mean, when I met you at the old mill, it's like, this is like a local donut shop that's making all these cool things. So I think that's really great.
I mean, we are mom and pop. I'm the owner. I've got 3 kids. I'm in there all the time. So we are small, but we're also part of a bigger network of, of a franchise.
Oh, that's
So
great. That's great.
Yeah.
What are your kids' favorite donuts?
um my oldest has loved the vanilla Oreo hot fudge
That
for
sounds so good.
he is an Oreo kid. My middle is a flip flop, which is chocolate with vanilla or vanilla with chocolate, depending on the day.
Okay.
But typically, it's chocolate with a vanilla drizzle because that's typically how it is. And then depending on if it's hot, they kind of run together. And then my little guy was a strong strawberry with rainbow sprinkles, but he has since switched a little bit to the cinnamon sugar, so he goes back and forth.
Uh-huh. So he's a purist at heart. Okay. Kind of like
Yes, yes.
Imagine how great it would be. At least I think, to your parents having a donut shop to be a
I can't think of like anything better unless your parents have Lego. That's probably the only
Yeah, true. That wouldn't be bad. That'd be a good one.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like fantastic. Well, now I'm like starving. We have to leave because I'm starving.
Well, thank you very much for having me. This has
Oh, it was
been
great to have you. It was fun to talk to you, and
you
I
too.
I love that idea of like a little tasty something to take with you at the end. I think that just makes so much more sense than so many other things. People just kind of go crazy trying to think of something unique, but I think like just go for this. Yeah.
Right,
I
right. Or
agree. I
the
agree.
pegboard with the different signs over it, life is sweet, or, I don't know, our sweet love or whatever,
Oh
right.
God.
All of that. That's great. And you can design your own, and everybody loves a donut. It makes you happy. The choices, and you don't get the choice usually with a cake, or I could see if they still do the groomsman cake. I could see
Yeah.
the groom's cake, having
Oh
the
yeah.
cake being the donuts, and then the fancy, the wedding cake. But thank you so much for joining us. I want to tell our listeners that we talked a lot about the website. It's the Duck Donuts Whippany, and we will put a link to the
Yep.
Duck Donuts website on all of our social media sites, which are all New Jersey Wedding Podcasts. So you can just click on it and go right to Carrie's website, and you can see all the different donuts. You can contact her for information about your event. And thank you so much for joining us today.
It was
Oh,
wonderful,
thank you
Carrie.
so
Thank
much for
you.
having me.
Thank you.
for
Have a great wedding season.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by New Jersey wedding officiant Andrea Pertel, owner of For This Joyous Occasion Officiating Services.
And Celia Milton, owner of NJ Vows Now, also New Jersey Wedding Officiating Services. We're up in North Jersey, and Andrea is down in Central and South Jersey. So together we cover the whole state, don't we?
Yes, yes.